Hello friends, welcome to educators.com. I am Preeti Rathi. In last video, we have covered data types and different operators. Now in this video, we will discuss control structure and Ifelse statement. The topics which we are going to cover are control structure in C, flowchart, if statement and Ifelse statement. Now control structure controls the flow of execution in a program or function. There are basically three kind of execution flow we have. First is sequence. The execution of program is by default sequential, means it executes from top to down. Second is selection. A control structure which chooses alternative to execute can be called as a selection. Third is repetition. It is a control structure which repeats a group of statements till a particular condition is true. In this video, we will focus on selection control structure. Now this is the flow chart for if-else condition. If suppose our requirement is asking for some input from end user, and if that number is greater than 10, then do something, else do something else. So our program starts with start icon. Then we will ask for enter a number which is less than 10. Read the input using scanf. Now this diamond is nothing but a decision box. If the condition is true, it will go to this direction, where it will print what an obedient servant you are. If it is false, it will directly come to the end. Now what is condition? A program may choose among alternative statements by testing the value of key variables. For example, if we want to find out whether a student passed the exam or not, so we can have if your grade is greater than 60, then we can conclude that you are passed. Now condition is an expression that is either false represented by 0 or true which can be represented by 1. Basically any non-zero value in C is true. For example, in this case we have your grade greater than 60 is a condition. So conditions may contain relational or equality operator and have different forms like variable relational operator or equality operator variable. Then if statement. If the particular condition is true, then do something. This way we can have one alternative if statement. If suppose we want to give some other alternative, if the condition is false, then we can go for if else statement. For example, if condition is true, then execute this statement, else execute something else. If rest heart rate is greater than 56, then we'll print keep up your exercise program, else we want to display your heart is in excellent health. So this way we can use if else condition. If we have only one alternative, then we can go for only if statement. For example, if x is not equal to 0, then we will calculate product value as product equal to product into x. Now we will check out the application practically. If suppose we want to ask for marks from end user, and depending on the marks we want to conclude whether the student is failed or passed. So we will first have a variable, say marks, of integer data type. Then we'll call CLR just to clear the screen. Then we'll print enter marks. To read these marks we will be using scanf, where we can use %d to read the value as data type is integer. Ampersand marks. Ampersand stands for address of. So the marks entered by end user will be stored in variable marks. Now we will check out if marks are greater or equal to 60, then we'll print you are passed the exam, right? Now last statement we have get ch. Before this statement, if we want to print something, so we can have a printf statement saying before end. Now I'll execute this application. Enter marks. If I'll enter 70, it will display you are passed the exam and before end. As the condition is true, that if block is executed. If I execute it again and I'll enter some lesser value, then the condition becomes false and that if block is skipped. Directly we are getting before end. So this way we can give if condition for selectional execution. If suppose we want to display multiple statement or perform multiple tasks, if the condition is true, then we can wrap this in a curly bracket. For example, I want to print two statements, that is congratulations, and then I want to display you are passed the exam. Now if I'll execute this and if I'll enter 70, the output will be both the statement. If I'll give the input which is lesser value, then the condition will become false and both statement will be skipped. Now in this case I would like to point out one more thing here, that if I give some semicolon here, first I'll show you the output and then we'll discuss what happened. After if I have given a semicolon, now I am executing it. I'll enter 30. So which makes the condition as a false and we are expecting if block should be skipped. But the output is if block is not skipped, we got output congratulations you have passed the exam and then before end. So why this output is coming? Because because of this semicolon. Semicolon is a executable statement in C language. So it won't give any runtime or compile time error over here. But after if statement, whatever is the first statement, that will become part of if. Means if the condition is true, then semicolon will be executed. If the condition is false, then semicolon will be skipped. As in this case, when I have entered 30, the condition is false. So it is skipping semicolon and the rest of whole block is executed normally. So even though the condition is false, we are getting output of this block because now it is not a part of if statement. Now I would like to add one more important thing here. When we go for condition, so if suppose I give the statement like this, that is marks equal to 60. Now see, this equal to is an assignment operator. It is not an equality operator. Now you can see if I'll execute this application, even if I enter some value which will make the condition as a false, still the whole if statement is executed. So reason behind this is this 60 value is being assigned to marks and we are getting if 60. As in C language, non-zero is true, so it will make the if statement as a true and if block is executed. So we have to check out with the equality operator and not with the assignment operator. Now one more thing I'll add here. As we have discussed that every non-zero value is true and 0 is false. So directly we'll check out that. If I'll give some non-zero value and if I'll have some printf which will say in if. So you can see here that whatever I entered, that doesn't matter here, but in if will be executed because the condition is true. Instead of 5, if I'll enter 0, so you will find in if will not be executed because the condition is false. Now in C language we have this as a multi-line comment. So I'll just comment this part, and again we'll come back to previous example where we have given if marks are greater than or equal to 60, then we want to conclude about you have passed the exam. Whereas if the condition is false, then we have second alternative. For example, if marks are less than 60, then we want to display that you have failed the exam. So that part we can give in a else. Else should be always associated with the if statement. Again, if we have multiple statement in else block, then we can use curly bracket. Here we can specify printf you have failed the exam. Now if I'll execute this, so if I enter 70, so condition becomes true and we are getting congratulations, you have passed the exam. If I execute it again and give some lesser output, lesser input, then we will get you have failed the exam. So else is always associated with the if statement. Whenever we have another alternative, if the condition is false, then what to do? Then we can go for else statement. So in this video we have discussed about if statement. If we have another alternative, depending on if condition is false, then we can go for if else. When we go for if statement, the first statement after if becomes part of if body. So if we have a semicolon after if, then that will become part of if statement. Second thing is we need to find the difference between assignment and equality operator. Third is if we want to wrap multiple statements as a part of if body, then we need to use curly bracket. Else should be always associated with the if statement. In C language, 0 is false and any non-zero value is a true. So this all topic we have discussed in this video. Now in next video we will discuss about nesting of if else as well as if else ladder. Thank you.